Ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome to Unit Lost. I am Stylosa and I'm joined by the glorious...
One amongst many, I'm here as well. We're gonna chat today.
Whoa.
We're gonna chat today about everyone's favourite hero. Well, everyone's favourite hero now that I suppose there's a bunch of new quote-unquote favourite heroes in the game. It's Tracer. Everyone loves Tracer. Who doesn't love Tracer?
So, Josh, this is the premise. A lot of people are... Well, they're worried about Tracer. They see all these Brig nerfs and they're like, well, Brig was brought into the game to stop Tracer absolutely butchering everybody. But now Brig is getting butchered herself. So, well, yeah, she can't one-shot, well, not one-shot, but she can't combo Tracer anymore and just kill her. So, by selecting Brig, it doesn't inherently mean that Tracer is just dead. Now, of course, the stupidity of all of this is, yes, we know Brig is a bit silly, and they are finally looking at her on the PTR, which is great. But if I could play Brig against Prophet, and I would be able to smack him. And in case you guys don't know who Prophet is London Spitfire Trace player, or even a Savior. No, let's be honest, they would wreck me. But even on the Brig, I'd have some sort of a chance. And that's kind of not great, is it? But we'll get into this as we, get into the video. So, right then, Josh, do you feel hard done by Tracer?
I tend not to myself, and I'm a stats nerd, right? I like looking at statistics, and I like looking at here's the hero win rates on overbuff, and this is what's happening at this level. And so whenever someone sort of mentioned this stuff to me, because I do a lot of my own coaching series, I get to see a lot of footage, and sometimes it's like, oh, the Tracer's destroying us. And then I actually go through and look at the win rates, and I see that Tracer, until you hit Grandmaster usually, is a sub 50% win rate. She's actually one of the lowest win rate DPSs in the game. So the statistics support that Tracer isn't actually overpowered, but there is that feeling that people get when they go against a really good Tracer, right? You feel powerless, and I'm primarily a support main, right? I play a lot of support. I play a lot of Zenyatta, the character that usually is the one that gets bullied by Tracers. And yeah, I've been there. I know how that feels when the Tracer is just destroying you over and over and over again, and nobody's helping you, nobody's doing anything. But what I've learned through time is that there are ways of sort of mollifying that, there are ways of dealing with that, but there's also a factor to it of, well, that Tracer could just be really good, right?
Oh, well, let's talk about that. So Tracer being good. Now, Tracer has been seen as the sort of balance pole. The hero everything is based around. She's, well, I don't want to say this, but she's the perfect Overwatch hero. She's not, right? But just roll with me. She's perfect in the sense of she's got an unlimited skill ceiling. You can get really, really good with Tracer, and you can keep getting better and better and better with Tracer. There's loads of outplay elements to Tracer. Think of the McCree matchup. You try and bait out the flashbang. Lower levels of McCree players will instantly try and flash you straight away. So you go near him, and maybe you just instantly recall when you get near him. You see him use his flash, and then you get aggressive on him, and then you kill him. However, as you start going up the ladder, McCree becomes a bit clever. So he doesn't throw his flashbang out straight away. He tries to shoot you, doesn't he? He's like, bang, 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 and you're blinking around. Maybe he catches you on the body. Maybe then you have to recall. Then you probably need to disengage because you know McCree has the advantage. He still has his flash. But then there's things like the double blink where you can blink towards him and then blink back away from him, bait out his flash, and then use your recall if you need to. And then, so all of this stuff comes into play. Tracer is... She was the hero that made me fall in love with this game. She was the first hero I played, and because I was on this whole thing of look, Blizzard, how the hell can Blizzard make an FPS game? It's going to be for casuals. And then I played Tracer. I was like, hang on, this seems ridiculous. But it looks like Blizzard's philosophy when it comes to keeping this hero sort of under control is not to nerf her. I mean, I think she's been nerfed twice, right? This is going from memory. I believe her weapon spread in the beta got nerfed, or maybe it was a range.
Damage fall off got changed, yes.
Yeah. And then there was another nerf recently, right? But I think that was fairly minimal as well.
Yeah, she does.
But anyway, Brig.
Yeah, she doesn't receive changes. And, I'm just going to jump in on the back of that point, which is that Tracer is a hero that you can feel outplayed against, right? She can outplay you. Yeah. Absolutely outplay you. And this is sort of an important thing, I think.
Which is fine. It's fine, right?
But yeah, that's absolutely fine. That's 100% fine, because when you play an FPS game or any competitive game, you're going to lose, if the matchmaking's right, you're going to lose 50% of the fights you go into. Whatever game it is, you should be losing about 50% of those. And when someone outplays you, when someone actually does something really cool and sort of blinks around you and gets a kill, and you're playing Zenyatta and you're trying to nail them in the head and you don't manage to land the hits, and they kill you, then you sort of go, oh, well, fair enough. That's what that hero does. Maybe I should reposition, stand more in my team. Maybe I should cover this corner a little bit more. Maybe I should try and melee her some more. Maybe I should do this. Maybe I should do that. There's tons of little things you can do, tons of little optimizations you can make to try and outplay her. But then you get into, well, what Brig did to Tracer. And Sty, what did Brig do to Tracer?
Brig just deleted Tracer. because she was Brig, and that was about the end of that story. So yeah, the problem with Brig, obviously, we all know what the issue of Brig is. And finally, it's been looked at on the PTR, and hopefully, well, I'd imagine this will go live. But simply selecting a hero which shuts down a very high-skill hero is madness. Whoever approved that design is crazy. There must be so many different ways they could look at trying to fix the what was the problem of dive comp at the time with Genji and Tracer. More specifically with Tracer, because we've seen it in every single Overwatch League game, which of course is the highest level of the game. They're going to pick the best heroes, and it was really fun to watch her play, because she's like super high skill. You can appreciate it's like, wow, look at this Tracer playing out of her mind. She's killing absolutely everybody. It's totally ridiculous. Then Brig comes along, and that's Blizzard's way of saying, hey, we don't really want dive everywhere anymore. So here's Brig, and she's going to shut down basically the main damage component of this comp. But she's just going to shut it down by simply selecting the hero. Now, of course, that had the negative, well, I'm going to say negative reaction of introducing GOATS comp and all the tank-heavy comps. But anyway, this is kind of going away from the meat of the video. The question is this. Is a Tracer meta coming back to the game?
I don't think so. And this is why, which is that the kill combo's gone, but the kill combo is only part of the problem for Tracer versus Brig, and the real meat of why Brig causes issues for Tracer is more her ultimate and the armor that she can provide passively to people just through existing, just through using her ultimate, and just through using the healing pack, whatever it's called, the repair pack, I think it's called. So she puts armor on people. Now, what armor does to Tracer, if you aren't aware, is it halves her damage. That's literally it. It just halves her damage output, straight up. And if that's happening to you, well, you might as well just go and pick another hero, because you go from needing like 2 reloads, 3 reloads maybe to killing a hero, to needing 4, 5, or 6, and that's taking too long all of a sudden, and then you're not getting kills anymore, so then why are you playing Tracer? You might as well go play something else. You might as well go play Pharah or Doomfist, for example, and just blow people up. So it's...
Well, you know what I kind of think? I think actually Brig is sort of more effective against Tracer now in a way. So Brig's got more healing now. So the Brig gameplay style changes. It goes away from this front line and just rushing in, smashing the enemy Reinhardt and going crazy, to a Brig which is with the supports, or at least this is how I kind of see this going. So if you've got your Brig next to your Zen and Tracer tries to jump the Zen, I mean, good luck. I mean, you don't even need the ultimate. You just throw armor pack, repair, whatever the hell it's called, on the Zen, and it's like, haha, then you start swinging your flail around. Maybe you stun the Tracer, but that doesn't really matter. If you stun the Tracer, then you'd expect your Zen or whoever the hell is with you to help you out to kill them, but you're just providing more healing. You've still got the armor. You're with the supports more. So Tracer is more... it's going to be more difficult to find the gaps. You get what I'm saying?
Shouldn't that be how it is, though? Like, if you think about Brig, I like to talk about the idea of, like, hero fantasy, and Brig is, I will be your shield, Helvete, and whatever it is. Like, that's what she's all about. And so if she's with the supports and she's just protecting the supports, then that's absolutely fine, because then you can go off and you can go and harass the Reinhardt, you can go and harass the DPS, and you can hunt down and kill stuff.
I play a lot of Reinhardt. And if you was to ask me the question, what do I prefer? To be brigged or to be tracered? Well, being brigged was horrifically terrible. Being tracered is massively annoying. But if Tracer's going to take on a Reinhardt, you're either massively out of position or your team is dead, or that Tracer is having to blink all over the place, through your barrier, behind you, all over and it's like that she's having to put in so much work to get a result. So I'd actually prefer, well, I think everybody would prefer, to be tracered rather than the Brigitte or
Brigitte. I see what you've tried to do, but I appreciate the effort. But you get the idea, right? That if Brig's just able to help one of those heroes or two of those heroes and be the bodyguard for the Zen or something like that, then that's fine. That seems okay. But the fact that she can still put armor on everybody and it lasts forever, and it's very difficult to remove on some heroes, like Zarya, for example, very difficult to get rid of. A target that Tracer can absolutely go for. You see, as Zarya's used her personal bubble, you can go in on that, you can do tons of damage, you can rip the Zarya to pieces. The moment she gets armor on her,
this is counterplay, isn't it? This is the whole idea of counterplay. Like the thing with Doomfist Ultimate changed recently. So he had the radius increased in the center proportion of his ultimate, so it does 300 damage there still. But outside of that, in the secondary radius, it does much less damage. So you have to hit them inside the circle to kill them. Now, how do you counterplay Doomfist Ultimate? It still is kind of a bit silly to me that there is a hero in the game that is a DPS hero that has an ability which can just kill Ana and Zen, and it can still kill Ana and Zen, although they've got a bit of a chance to get out. There is a little bit of counterplay there because Zarya can bubble the target, and that's kind of it. I mean, yeah, you can like use barriers to block the damage maybe and things like that, but that's super difficult to do. But that's like not a great example in my head of an ability which is counterable or there is counterplay. Brig, though, was the epitome of this because she just would walk up to you and bash you and you had no way to play around this. Tracer, on the other hand, has multiple counters, but none of them are well, apart from Brig, right? But none of with the exception of her, are just insta-win buttons against her. You think of Roadhog. Well, he needs to hook Tracer. If he misses his hook, what do you do as Tracer? You know that it's go time. You can start farming your ult on Hog. There's still danger because he can still get you with a juicy right click and you're dead. You know, you look at Doomfist as well, that matchup. If Doomfist punches you, you're probably dead, let's be real. But if he misses with his fist, you know it's go time on Doomfist. Especially now with the nerfs to Doomfist, because if he hits you with Seismic Slam, you can still move. Then you look at McCree. Well, McCree's obviously, we've discussed that. You know, what other would be direct counters to Tracer?
Let me have a think quickly.
The
Genji Tracer.
Ashe, Genji Tracer. Yeah, go for Genji Tracer.
Genji Tracer as a matchup is extremely complicated and very, very difficult. It's like baiting out trying to get the deflect, trying to get the dash, trying to catch up with him. And if he deflects too early and you don't shoot into it, then you're fine. If you shoot into the deflect for even a second, you'll just tear yourself to pieces. He'll dash through and you lose. So there's like a lot that goes into that one. And yeah, go for Ashe. Like, what's Tracer Ashe like?
Yeah, well, Tracer Ashe is going to be like I've been playing a lot of Tracer on the on Deathmatch, and there's a lot of Ashe obviously because people want to test a new hero out. She can be quite. It's a funny one, right? Because yeah, it's skill based. If you want to bring up the scope and try and shoot the Tracer, fair enough at point blank range. If you're going to land the shots, then that's like super good. But if you're just going to spray wildly, sometimes you can get deleted if you're playing Tracer. Sometimes she misses all the shots and then you kill her. So it isn't as. There's almost like a panic button with Ashe. Like you notice I've missed the dynamite out here because typically throwing the dynamite at your feet is not a good idea when Tracer is trying to kill you because you will explode as well and then she'll probably kill you. But there is this like weird like dynamic going on, whereas McCree, it's a much cleaner skill matchup. You know, it's like, okay, I'm going to land the shots, I'm going to get the flashbang, you're dead. Whereas Ashe is a bit more random, but it's still kind of dangerous for Tracer to engage onto Ashe at close range. There could be a sting in the tail there. So let's just recap this. Now, the whole idea of this video was, there's a lot of talk in the community of like, oh, Brig's getting nerfed, Tracer's just going to come back and dominate the game. Like Josh said, Tracer only really has a positive win rate, well, above 50% win rate, like at the very highest tiers of the game. So I don't really think it's anything to worry about, to be honest. I mean, would you agree with that?
I get the idea of like, it feels bad playing against the Tracer and losing, but to me it always falls back on the fact that to do that Tracer is playing extremely well and is usually doing something which people do complain about in Overwatch, which there's no way to carry an Overwatch, right? This is an old debate, this is an old argument. There's no way to carry an Overwatch. Tracer was one of the few heroes that could do that. A single Tracer could be so disruptive, so impactful in the game that she could, if she was good enough compared to everybody else in the matchmaker, then she could turn a game. She could control a game and take over completely. And I think that's fine. For a competitive FPS game, if a player is that good to be able to do that, they probably should be allowed to do that, right? And that's kind of where I sit on the issue.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with that. Like, Trace is one of these heroes that you kind of have to counter as a team if it's really popping off. So if the enemy team have got a super good Tracer, like, what are you going to do? Well, you know, you're not just going to leave your Zen alone because you know he's going to get one clipped over and over again. So maybe help the Zen, or maybe the Zen swaps to something else, or you do something to try and counter. Now, I'm fine with that. Obviously, the answer right now is just to pick Brig because Brig just kills Tracer and ha ha ha, trollololol. But we know that's being looked at. Hopefully, Brig gets to a point where it isn't just select Brig to counter Tracer, because I don't want to see that. But I'm a little bit worried with this new Brig because I think it's going to be doing quite a bit of healing, and it's obviously Brig, so it's super tanky. So I'm not too sure where that's going to go actually for the meta and all that stuff. But I'm totally fine with Tracer being effective, because if you think about the gameplay flow of Tracer, especially when a big fight is breaking out, or like even if a fight's over, Tracer's having to be aware of enemy position, be aware of her cooldowns, be aware of where recall is going to take her, be aware of where the nearest health packs are. Because a lot of Tracers, you're going in, you're doing damage, you might jump onto a health pack, then you might use a recall, knowing when enemy abilities have been used. Like, a very good thing to call out, guys, if you're playing against Tracer, is please call out when she uses a recall. Because if you see her use recall, go Tracer's recalled, because your DPS will know if they find her, they can just go one-to-one with her because she's got no way of healing herself.
It's a difficult debate, right? Because it's tough.
It is. It really is, yeah.
Because you can understand it when, like, a Mercy player goes, oh my god, I'm just so fed up of being destroyed by Tracers. Please add something to the game. that fixes that. But again, Brig is just kind of one note at doing that, and it doesn't feel good as well. It might feel good for a moment as a Brigitte, like, oh, I'm just stomping these tracers. I can do so much. I can just one-shot her with my combo. Lol, that's so funny. But eventually it just gets tiresome and she just vanishes from the game as a result. As it is now with these patch changes, is it going to be enough to push Tracer out the game still? I'm not 100% sure. I do think the armor is still like the high impact thing, like the subtle thing that goes under everything that makes Brig so powerful is that armor impact. And if they need to look at armor, change how armor works maybe, I don't know, to make Tracer viable again. As long as Brig exists, that could always be a problem. But overall, I would be happy to see Tracer return. And I say that as someone who plays a lot of Zen and a lot of Ana recently as well. Right? I'd love to see that return, because I want to see Doomfist go away, and I want to see Brigitte go away. Because I can't do much about Doomfist, because he's got 400 hit points, and so even if I headshot him a couple of times, it's not going to do anything. And Brigitte just stuns me, speed boosts into me, stuns me, and kills me, so I can't do anything about that. Tracer, I can headshot her, and I feel really good when I do. And that's satisfying and fun.
And on that bombshell, ladies and gentlemen, don't worry about Tracer. I don't think we're going to be seeing some ridiculously OP Tracer meta. So any kind of mad stories that you guys are seeing or comments around based on that, just chill. I don't think it's going to be too bad. I think you still need to worry about Brig, though. Just Brig. Ladies and gentlemen, I've been Stylosa. This is Unit Lost. If you enjoyed the video, then like the video. Remember, you can sub to the channel also as well. Click the bell because you will get alerted to when new videos go live. And follow me on Instagram, which is instagram.com/Stylosa. There's somebody else in the video if he wants to,
There is somebody else here as well. I noticed you said you've been Stylosa. I've been Josh's One Voice Amongst Many as well. You can follow me on Twitter at @1_amongst_many, and you can follow me on Twitch as well at ESL_1amongst_many. It's tough, but you'll find me, don't worry. There's not too many people with a very similar name to me, so it's pretty easy. And thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time. Toodles.
Toodaloo.